Composting turns your kitchen and garden waste into a free, nutrient-rich food for your garden and can be used on a vegetable patch, flower beds, or placed around trees to improve soil structure and nutrient content. Composting has many benefits, such as waste reduction, soil enrichment, and using less chemicals in fertilisers. It's a great way to recycle scraps from your garden and kitchen, and it's easier than you think. Let's get started. Where do I put my compost bin? You can put the compost bin almost anywhere in your garden, but it's best to sit directly on the soil so any liquid produced as the material breaks down can drain away and the microscopic decomposers can access the material more easily. It also needs some sun to work, so don't hide it behind your shed. Place the bin somewhere that's easy to access all year round. Don't worry if your only option is on slabs. Those worms and other decomposers will find their way into your bin, but it will just take longer. Maybe you could even remove a couple of slabs so it could sit directly on the bare earth. What can I compost? Most organic materials can be composted, including our uncooked kitchen waste and garden rubbish. The key to good compost is to have an even mix of greens and browns. Greens include uncooked fruit and vegetables, coffee grounds and tea bags, grass cuttings, houseplants and flowers, hedge clippings and hay. Brown materials include paper, cardboard or used kitchen roll, egg boxes, finely chopped shrub prunings, eggshells, leaves and hair. How does it all work? There are a few things you need to remember when making compost. It's a natural process involving many different types of bugs. To make the compost, the bugs need to be in the right conditions. They need food, air and a bit of moisture. The greens that I mentioned earlier are the tender and moist materials such as grass cuttings and veg peelings. These tend to rot really quickly. The greens are important as this is the food that the bugs really like to eat. This is the stuff that really gets the heat going. The browns are the tougher materials like woody prunings and autumn leaves. This stuff takes ages to break down, but browns are important as they add structure and body to the heap. This will ensure there's plenty of air within the material which the bugs need to do their job. So, the key to making a good compost is to get a balanced mixture of greens and browns. Don't worry about exact quantities, just try and add roughly equal amounts of each. Greens will get the composting bugs started and the browns will add structure and body to the heap. You shouldn't need to add water if you get the right mix of greens and browns, but you might need to in a really hot summer. Now the final ingredients are the bugs themselves. The bugs will enter and do all the work for you. You don't need to do anything. Fill up your compost bin whenever you can. The more you add at once, the better. So try and add everything in together if you can. Larger twigs and branches can be cut up with a sharp spade, which will make them quicker to break down. If you're adding a lot of material to your bin in one go, you'll find that it will begin to get hot within a few days and the material will break down quite quickly. If you only add small amounts, it won't get as hot as fast. But don't worry, it will still break down. It will just take a bit longer. As the material decomposes, it decreases in volume, so you may never actually fill the bin completely, but just keep adding. After 6 to 12 months, there should be some finished compost at the bottom of the heap, but it might take up to 18 months depending on the conditions. If you have a hatch on the bottom of your bin, you can check and see what it looks like. The material at the top of the heap may not look as though it's been turned into compost. You'll probably find the material at the bottom looks very different. If you have a hatch, you can see what it looks like from the bottom. It will look like rich, dark soil. And if you just want a small quantity, you can scoop it out from the bottom. If you need more, you can lift the bin away, move the top bit that hasn't decomposed yet to one side or into a wheelbarrow, and then use the ready compost at the bottom of the bin. Now, Most compost that you see on the TV and in books will look like a lovely fine material that flows nicely between your fingers. But in fact, homemade compost doesn't usually look like this when it comes out of the bin. The compost doesn't need to be fine and soft to be valuable, as long as it's dark in colour and you can't recognise the original ingredients other than maybe a bit of eggshell. And there you have it, your beginner's guide to composting.